What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and for today's video I wanted to give you guys a look at my Wolverine. Now that I finally have this guy built up, 6 stars, fully mastered, have some Urus on him, ISO set, and all that good stuff, right? Now to be fair, I've had him done for about a week now, but I wanted to get him to a place where he's similarly built to my Doctor Strange, because Doctor Strange, just like Wolverine, is acquired through the Epic Quest. So I wanted to see how Wolverine stacks up when compared to the MVP of Future Fight. That's right guys, I still consider Doctor Strange to be the MVP, even with Jean Grey in the mix. I know some of you guys may disagree, but that's just my take on it, okay? Now I gotta say, to be honest with you guys, Wolverine feels significantly easier to handle than Doctor Strange. Granted, I'm still new at playing him, but the ease of play is actually unreal just because of how high his survivability is. It makes it so that you never really have to worry yourself about dying. You just have to focus on killing the enemy, similar to how Wolverine is in the comics, right? So absolutely love his kit, and we're going to get into that in a second. In terms of damage, I would say he's pretty close to being Doctor Strange level. Doctor Strange has him beat just a little bit, but that may just be because Doctor Strange has a uniform and he doesn't, so keep that in mind. Now as for his skills guys, his skills are pretty plain when you look at them, because outside of the 4 skill there is no text on it. However, every single skill on this kit brings something to the table. So we're going to start with the leadership like always. And this leadership right here is a pretty bad leadership. Decreases debuff duration by 30%. I never use these, although I can see what Netmarble was going for right here, because Wolverine is a type of character in the comics where you punch him in the face like and he'll just shake his head, like he'll be dazed for a second if you're like a big hitter, but then he'll just get right back up and start pounding your face in, right? So I can see why the debuff duration being reduced is kind of a good idea for him, but I would have liked it to be something similar to what Odin has, where it's just completely removed and it's only for like a few seconds. I'm not saying make it so that he's completely immune to being debuffed. I'm not saying that, but like let's say 5 seconds on like a 15-second cooldown, that would be cool. But this one right here, I'm never gonna use it, to be honest, so they can miss me with that. Still, kit very, very good. This skill right here is actually one of the most amazing skills in this game. I really, really love it. I love the slashes. It actually takes up so much room on the map that nothing can escape the wrath of the Wolverine. Definitely an amazing skill. Like literally, you could be at one end of the map and the enemy that you're targeting could be at the opposite end, almost completely off screen, and you can trigger this skill and immediately Wolverine will jump into an iframe and start shredding everything. So he's not going to be charging to the enemy or nothing like that. He's just going to jump into the iframe, jump into that skill, and start cutting everything to shreds. And it has a massive AoE range, so everything on screen is getting shredded. Absolutely love this skill. Berserker Rage, you're damn right it is. Amazing, amazing skill. 4 skill right here, as you guys can see, it ignores the target's dodge rate by 40% once you get it to level 6, and that is actually amazing. It's on a 10-second cooldown. Cooldown time for it is 15 seconds, so you can keep this up all the time once you have max skill cooldown. It also gives you a 75% chance to ignore, or rather to penetrate, barrier, shields, and all damage immunity effects. So this is actually really, really amazing. So people like Wasp with that pesky barrier, you can shred her as long as you keep this skill activated. People like Silk, Loki with the shield, they can't hide behind the shield. He's gonna shred it like it's butter. And Doctor Strange, Sharon Rogers with damage immunity, damage immune my ass. So with this skill activated, everybody's getting shredded. The only thing that this skill does not give him the ability to do is to damage you while you have an invincibility proc. So if you have invincibility on your obelisk, or if you have like Thanos' skill where he summons an invincibility shield, Wolverine cannot damage you if you're in that. That is the only kind of protection that this skill allows you to have, okay? So definitely think about that when you go up against Wolverine. Don't try to hide in your damage immunity or your shield or a barrier, because if this skill is activated, he's still gonna shred you like paper, okay? Definitely an amazing skill. 4-star passive, we already spoke on it. It makes him literally the Wolverine. Immortal. Well, almost immortal, okay? If you have a PvP build, I don't want to face you, okay? I'll face my share amount of Wolverine that's given me a terrible, terrible time in timeline. I don't even want to go there. So, an amazing 4-star passive, one of the best in the game, hands down, bar none. Definitely amazing. X-Slash right here, reminiscent of Wolverine. Absolutely love it. Like, he just charges the enemy like a mindless animal and just starts stabbing the crap out of you. Like, it is amazing to watch it, okay? It is really amazing. Absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite skills in this kit just because of how much it reminds me of Wolverine. Just a rabid animal that just goes berserk. Love it. This 2 skill right here, it has a little bit of bleed damage to it. The 4 skill also has some bleed damage. I didn't mention that earlier, but it does have some bleed damage on it. It's not said here, but it does. But Wolverine is stabbing you for the majority of the fight, so you should expect some bleed damage, okay? So 2 skill right here, whenever I see him use this, it just reminds me of watching a samurai use Bato Jutsu. And you guys may be wondering what the hell that is. I watch way too much anime. It's essentially when a samurai pulls his sword, slashes you, and resheaths it before you even have a chance to realize what happened. So, yeah. It's actually an instant iframe where Wolverine literally just teleports behind you, but he actually just slashes you up before he does that. Really, really cool skill. And ignore what I said about Bato Jutsu. That's just me being a nerd, okay? Definitely, definitely an amazing skill. It is an iframe, so keep that in mind. Not that he actually needs iframe, just because of how freaking amazing his recovery is. But iframes are useful, especially for extreme AB. 2 skill right here has a little bit of movement, and it looks like there's an iframe at the end, but correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I'm still new to using him to his full potential. Definitely a really good skill. It also deals a little bit of bleed damage as well. The most impressive tier 2 passive I've seen for a combat character, or actually for any character. Like, this right here is the epitome of epicness. 20% all defense. Not like he needs it, since his recovery is just so freaking high, but he also has super armor, and the super armor is great because that means he can't be guard broken. And one of the skill that you would actually have to worry about being guard broken if he didn't have this is the 3 skill, just because he's up in your face slashing away, and against war bosses that would not be a thing that would be possible. But with the immunity to guard break, he can still do that, and the only way for them to stop him is if they stun him. Right, stuns will still work, but doing massive amount of damage to interrupt him, not gonna work. Increase critical damage by 50%. That is amazing. Keep in mind that the cap is 186%, and you start with a base of 100. So that effectively eliminates more than half of the critical damage that you need to add on him. So this is an amazing freaking tier 2 passive already. Yeah. And then you add guaranteed critical rate on top of that, 50%. These are the highest guaranteed critical rate and critical damage in the game so far. And given to Wolverine, I can see why. Definitely an amazing tier 2 passive, and it's one of the reasons why his damage is actually so high, because he's hitting you for so much crits. Like, pretty much all of his kills do multi-hits, and because of the fact that he has so much crit rate, he crits so often. So overall, this guy's kit, even though there's not a lot of text on it, there's actually a lot of power in this kit. Definitely freaking amazing. I've been having so much fun with him. Now, as for a skill rotation for this guy, I'm currently using 5, 4, 2, 1, 3. That's the rotation I'm using, and that's for everything except ABX. Okay, ABX, I play him a little bit differently because I need to be able to evade those meters to keep the points coming in at a steady rate, okay? If I use this rotation, I find that I get hit by meteors, so I don't necessarily use this rotation. I can't really give you guys a rotation for ABX just yet because I'm still ironing out the kinks, but for everything else, I go with 5 because I have a damage proc, which I will show you guys in a second, and I like to open the fight with the damage proc. You can also start with the 4 skill just to get the ignore dodge and the ability to pierce the barriers, shield, and damage immunity. But for me, I don't want to take the chance of losing my damage proc on this skill. Even though it does good damage, I'd rather go ahead and start with the 5 skill. So for me, 5, 4, 2, 1, 3 is what I use, and then right back into 5. But if you guys have a better rotation that you found to be more effective, let me know in the comments, because I'm always willing to learn from some of you guys, especially since I'm just getting him now and you guys have had like a month to play with him. So as for his gears, guys, right here we got physical attack and attack speed. Very good gear so far. And I decided to put physical attack per level right here, and then all attack and physical for the remaining slots. We'll get to the Urus in a second. Next one right here, a little bit sad. I would rather the HP to be in the first slot, or I would have liked it to be all defenses. So a little bit sad about that, because the HP is just a little bit low and we get physical defense here. So for me, I rolled for energy defense per level, and then I went ahead and rolled all defenses for the remaining slots. This one right here, it's a really bad slot, to be honest with you guys. It's a really bad slot. The crowd control is like, it's gonna synergize a little bit with his leadership, because that's just more debuff, like protection in his kit. But this with dodge is just like a bad slot. Okay, so right here I rolled for HP per level for the first slot, and I rolled HP for the remaining slots. Ideally you can go for HP per level for the second one as well. Just try to get something 183% or higher. Now this slot right here, ignore defense and recovery rate. Haven't seen a character with recovery rate in a long time. However, if someone was getting it, I could see why they would give it to Wolverine. I can't really complain. Would I have rather something else here? Absolutely. I would have definitely loved to get skill cooldown here, but no dice. We got recovery. It's going to synergize with his healing, make him a little bit more tanky. It's not going to be that much more noticeable, but it's a little bit of recovery rate. It's fine. So right here, I decided to go for a little bit of attack speed, some crit rate, and a little bit of skill cooldown. This is going to be the slot where you decide what you need based on your cards, because he doesn't get any skill cooldown, so that's going to probably be the biggest thing for you guys. And as for his obelisk, guys, I'm running an ABX obelisk. So snare resist, because the Frost Beast on Combat Superhero Day has the ability to use snare, and that's going to significantly lower your chances of scoring high. You could probably still, actually no, you can definitely still score over 100 with him. Like I have an alliance member that actually scored 200 with him without using a snare immunity. So you could definitely still score over 100k with him, even if you don't put snare on him. So you could build him for PvP and still get over 100k. That's one of the really good things about Wolverine. So for me, I'm running immunity to snare, ignore dodge, and a 180% damage proc. Right here, I would have ideally liked the ignore dodge to be crit rate, but sadly I got ignore dodge. It's not terrible, but since he has some ignore dodge coming from his 4 skill already, I would have liked some more crit rate to get me closer to that 75% cap. Now I forgot to mention the Urus that I have on him, but thankfully the video is not over yet, so we can get right back to it. Now the first two right here, so top left, top right, is attack, physical attack. Okay, those are two physical attack Urus. The third one on the left side right here is actually a crit rate, and the other two are for ignore defense. So 2 physical attack, 2 ignore defense, 1 crit rate. Right here I have a physical attack, 2 crit rate, and 1 ignore defense. Right here I have 2 physical attack, 2 ignore defense, and another crit rate. Right here I have 2 physical attack, 2 crit rate, and 1 HP. Now you guys may be wondering, why no crit damage? Well, to be honest with you guys, because of my cards and because Wolverine starts off getting an extra 50% crit damage, it's very easy to max out the crit damage, because you can get some from your ISO set if you're going with an offensive ISO set, so you don't necessarily need to put any here. For you guys, if you're building him for PvE, I would say go for something similar to this. If you're building him for PvP, you could swap out a couple of the crit rate Urus for some HP, but even if I was building him for PvP, I would probably still go with these Uru slots, just because I want to still get some good amount of damage out of him, right? The obelisk though, you'd want to probably go for double max HP, invincibility, max HP, recovery, invincibility, something along those lines would be very good. You could also go all defense, max HP, and invincibility. That would make him a super tanky character, but that's up to you. I personally am not building him for PvP, but if we ever get a chance to put double obelisk on a character, I would definitely put one on him. but I highly doubt Netmarble is going to allow us to do that anytime in the future. So let's go ahead and take a look at this guy's stats right now. So as you guys can see right here, reduced cooldown time, or rather reduced cooldown duration or skill cooldown, is 36.24%. My ignore defense is not maxed out, and I left it like this on purpose because I have a couple cards that I'm about to change around once I get the right rolls, and that's going to give me about 7 to 8%. So I didn't want to put too much on the Urus, and that way I end up losing a good amount of stats, right? So I left it like this on purpose and put some more crit rate and a little bit of HP. As you guys can see, I have 188% on the crit damage, and you only need 186, okay? Because you get some from your alliance to help you get to that cap of 200. Crit rate, I only have 38%, so I would like to have ideally 50, because the majority of his skills are multi-hitting skills, so he's going to have a higher chance to crit more often. Attack speed, still a bit low, it's only 111%, but that's with just my ISO set, and I have a couple cards that I'm going to be changing, like I said earlier, so that's probably going to get me close to 120, 125, hopefully. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at this guy's ISO set. Sadly, I could not fully awaken it. I was actually so sad when I realized that the ISO sets the ISOs that I had left, rather, only gave energy attack. I was super sad about it. So I decided to keep that Power of Frankie Hulk that's been just chilling here in all of my videos, and that is mainly due to the attack speed and the fact that it gives me crit rate. Because if I had chosen to re-roll, the only other ISO set that I would have gone for would have been Overdrive. And Overdrive also gives crit damage. But as you guys just saw from my details page, I have 188% already. So getting an additional 8% from Overdrive would have put me well over what I want in terms of being as optimal as I can, because I'm still 2% over already. So that would have put me 10% over, and 10% is quite a big number for me, okay? So for that reason, I decided to go ahead and keep Power of Frankie Hulk, especially since as of right now, I don't have any attack speed coming from my cards. For you guys, if you're building him for PvE, I'm going to say do the same thing, because you're probably going to get some crit damage and some crit rate from your cards. So I would say go with Power of Frankie Hulk, but that is just my opinion, okay? Now, in order to give you guys a little bit of gameplay action with him, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys some World Boss action against Infinity Thanos, since I talked about my struggle against him yesterday. Now, for this video, we're going to go ahead and just use Wolverine's leadership. We're going to use 2 scrubs, so I'll just use my 2 bottom combat characters. I'll just use Drax, and we'll use someone who doesn't have a team up. You have a team up, so we'll use Bullseye. And that's going to be our team. We're not going to use any strikers, and let's get down to business, boys. Alright. Now this right here is not necessarily going to be how to play a Wolverine, guys. This is mainly just going to be me showing you guys just how fast my Wolverine can clear Thanos with no strikers and no team-ups. And I'm going to tell you guys, to be honest, his clear time is actually about double what my Doctor Strange gets, just because he's a physical attacking character, and Thanos has really high physical defense similar to that of Black Dwarf, okay? So do not let his clear time here fool you, because he's actually a freaking monster. I'll actually show you guys what my clear time against someone who doesn't have really high physical defense look like after I wrap this one up. Depending on how long this video is already, because I'm not really keeping track of the time right now, I might actually show you guys a speed run for World Boss Ultimate, but if not, I'll probably record it next week, because I don't want to make this one turn into like a 30-minute video or any of that nonsense. So about 1 minute so far, and this is about where my Doctor Strange would have him dead. We're not going to dodge this because we want to test his survivability as well. So not even about half, just from standing there. So if you're new to this game and you decide, you know what, Wolverine is my favorite Marvel character, and I'll pick him up, and I don't know a damn thing about this game, as long as you build him pretty decent and put all your like awakened ISO sets on him, you don't need any skill, and you can do exactly what I'm doing right now. Because I have not touched the D-pad even once, guys. Like, I'm literally just cycling through his skills in no particular order even. I'm not even keeping on rotation. I'm just literally just pressing the buttons as they come off cooldown. Now this one right here was a little bit more nasty, but we're just gonna heal back to full. But there was not even time for that. So 2 minutes. To be honest, that's just a little bit slower than my Dormammu. And that's actually pretty impressive for him since he is dealing physical damage. And like I said, Thanos has really high physical defense. Now I'm going to show you guys my clear time for World Boss Ultimate against someone like Proxima. Now my clear time for Phase 1 Proxima using Doctor Strange is about 2 minutes, okay? Using my freaking Wolverine, however, just take a look at my Phase 1 clear time, guys. I haven't bothered to get to Phase 3. But maybe I'll record that next week of just using Wolverine to plow through it. Take a look, guys. 28 seconds. This is the fastest clear time I've ever gotten with any freaking character for Phase 1. Right? So this is like a testament to his damage right here. Less than 30 seconds to take out a world boss at Phase 1. That's crazy. That's crazy. But that's all I have to share for this one, guys. Hopefully it wasn't super long and you made it this far. If you didn't, it's fine. I still love you. Y'all my bros. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys, well, in the comments, and I'm out.